Alderton and Nigel Lowe, they know what's up. So let's check out this video by Jack. Move to Malaysia without buying property. Yes, it's possible. Let's go live in the trees in Malaysia, people. Let's check out this video, see what's up.
You probably not heard of Sarawak, the cost of living path of Kuala Lumpur, what we consider today to be the easiest, most straightforward pathway to retire in Malaysia if you get the visa. So,
g'day guys, we're back in Malaysia with your favorite lawyer, Nigel Lowe. Welcome back to the show.
Nigel, what it do?
Again, welcome back to Kuching. Oh, so exciting. Today we're going to be talking about the easiest visa and the most straightforward way to move to Malaysia, whether you're a retiree.
These guys literally, they know everything there is to know. Don't take their age for granted. They're on top of this. They're like really the go-to guys if you guys are looking to move to Malaysia. No joke. Let's figure out how to do this because Sarawak's pretty sick and Malaysia is definitely the hidden gem of Asia.
Looking for a longer-term residency, so let's get right into it. Thank you.
All right.
I'm very excited. All right, everyone knows about MM2H, Malaysia, my second home, but you're the expert in MM2H, the Sarawak version. So tell us about the differences and what people might be misunderstanding.
Well, in KL, you're going to live in, a concrete jungle. In Sarawak, you got to live in the actual jungle.
Yes, so we've done a few videos with Jack in the past. We talked about MM2H. I'll explain what it actually is from the KL and West Malaysian perspective, and then give you a bit of an overview as to what we consider today to be the easiest, most straightforward pathway to retire in Malaysia if you are an expat looking to relocate either your family or just you and your spouse or just yourself as a main applicant. Let's start with KL's MM2H. We consider the KL MM2H to be one of the first programs that were released in order to give expats the support they need to find that pathway long-term in Malaysia. However, what has happened is over the few years that it has evolved, there has been some issues which we've determined to be disadvantageous to expats. For example, if you have done some research on the MM2H program in KL, you will notice that one of the requirements to qualify for the MM2H visa in West Malaysia, whether it's Penang, KL, and all the other states, each state mandates their own rules. They have their own rules in terms of who qualifies and what you need to do in order to qualify.
See, that's really cool because Malaysia's different in that regard. Like a lot of countries just have an overarching umbrella policy. Like this is how you move here. This is how much money you have to spend countrywide. Like just imagine if there were different rules to move to America as far as different states. They have their own rules. I don't know of many places around the world. You guys let me know how many different places have varying rules for getting a visa depending on where immigration into your country. I think it's a great idea. Let's hear what he has to say about why they do that, how they do that.
Now, one of the problems with West Malaysian MM2H is the requirement where each applicant needs to purchase property with a minimum value of $1 million ringgit. That's just one of the requirements.
So that's $250,000 roughly, guys. Not everybody who is a viable candidate to make your country better has that much extra cash just laying around, because I don't know if it's really possible to get a mortgage or something in another country that you don't live in yet. I really don't see that as being possible. So you got to have liquid funds to just move there and put into an investment right away, which is rough for a lot of people.
The other requirement is that you need to put, depending on which class, whether it's the silver class or the gold class, there has different requirements in terms of the bank deposit that is required. 500,000 ringgit is the minimum. So on top of having to purchase property for $1 million ringgit, which is about $250,000 United States dollars equivalent, you also need to put significant fiat currency, money that you could essentially invest, and you have to put it in a bank account, interest-bearing, and it's stuck there, essentially.
How many people do you guys know that are actually able to do that? That's a lot. You're going to have your house paid off where you came from and then sell it for cash and just have that liquid available. It's not ideal for a lot of people. Most people. It's just not possible. So, yeah, that's a headache.
It's a big upfront commitment. That's what I'm hearing.
It is.
And the rules
It's
have
huge.
changed as well, which I'm sure we'll get into. But you're right, you covered the main things there. That's the main restrictive thing here. So how does that play out in terms of SM2H? And what are the differences in the requirements? Amazing, great question. So Sarawak is the state that we're in right now. Kuching is the capital city of Sarawak. And Sarawak has a very interesting history. What you'll find out is people from West Malaysia, if they want to move to Sarawak, either to
work or to live, even if they were to marry someone who is a Sarawakian and wish to stay long term, the process for them to do so is not straightforward. Each person needs a work permit or a visa. Can you imagine having the requirement of needing a visa to visit a state within your own country? It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's
But
absurd.
here's the benefit.
I didn't know that.
Sarawakians, as part of the Malaysia Agreement, we control and have autonomy over our own immigration and our own borders.
Very interesting.
That allows us to set our own rules in terms of who can come here and who can't come to Sarawak.
Yeah, imagine like if you're European, like you wanted to move to another country in the EU, you had to go through the process of like getting a new visa and all that. I don't think that's the case, right? You can just move over there, no problem, as long as like your taxes are all straightened away. Yeah, in America, that's absolutely not the case. Like, yeah, if you make money in one state and like then you go make money in another, you still have tax obligations, of course, but you don't have to like get permission granted to move to Florida, for instance. You can just go ahead and do it. Wow, that's a lot.
Why have you probably not heard of Sarawak? It's because the state itself has never needed to attract people. They don't need it.
And remember, they don't have internet. They live in the trees. They ride rhinos to work, and yeah, they just hang out with the orangutans all the time.
The truth is, Sarawak has a population of about 2 million residents. Kuching has about 600,000 to 700,000 residents. You will find
That's
that there
not
is
a lot.
very low unemployment rate, no homelessness, unlike in Kuala Lumpur and other major
Wow.
cities in the other West Malaysian states.
It's true, I've seen that. There's a big difference, there's a big feel, I have to say, a big contrast with KL. If you're not a big city person and you think the only other option is Penang, you're missing out on Sarawak. So
Certainly. I think one of the benefits of moving to Sarawak, before I even go into how to get the visa to move here long term, if you want to consider, is
Hello.
knowing that the cost of living, and this is something that surprises most people, the cost of living is actually half of Kuala Lumpur here in Sarawak.
KL is definitely, I wouldn't say it's cheap per se, but like you can live for a very low budget in KL if you do it smart, you do it the right way. Now it's half over there. Wow, that's incredible. Now, what do you have to do to qualify to live over there? Like, how do you make yourself the ideal candidate to live on that side of Malaysia? That's what I want to
So
know.
if you think that living in
How
KL
good
is
that
cheap
food
because you
looks.
come from a foreign country like Australia, the UK, you will find in Sarawak, Kuching, the cost of living is even lower than most states. And how much we pay for fuel, bearing in mind
Diesel, 215, 50 cents a liter? Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is so cheap, guys. Wow, like everything's subsidized in Malaysia as far as I know, but that's just like, that's on a whole new level. Dang. Get yourself a diesel, right?
as we are doing this interview, we are in the midst of the Iran war. Strait of Hormuz is still closed at the time of this recording, so we don't know what's going to happen. But Malaysia, because we are an oil-producing country, an oil refinery as well, very good with all these aspects, we are able to control, and our government has subsidized us heavily in terms of the petrol cost. So in terms of cost of living, fuel cost isn't something that really hurts your hip pocket when you are in Sarawak. And this is something that all Sarawakians, whether you are a citizen or not, you are entitled to benefit if you are living in Sarawak. In terms of moving to Sarawak, the beauty about Sarawak's government is that they decided to release their own SMM2H program, meaning their version of the MM2H program.
So, Nigel, is it a completely separate program or is it part of the same master plan?
They follow the same guideline, but Sarawak has their own autonomy in terms of immigration. So the government here has full mandate, the authority to design their own SMM2H program.
That's huge.
The beauty about the SMM2H program is that now it has set a bit of a fireball. It's upset a lot of people in West Malaysia, including MM2H agents. Why? Because when Sarawak released their program, they basically waived the requirement to purchase a property. That is huge.
Whoa.
That is huge. The number one thing is, I have to buy a property, I'd rather rent, I want to be able to move around. So by removing that requirement, I think that is massive.
Absolutely.
So like all these agents over there in Western Malaysia are upset because like they're not getting the same amount of business is somebody like Nigel who specializes in East Malaysian immigration. That's incredible. There's a bit of like a rivalry between the two now, and I wonder, they make it cheaper, but are there like stricter guidelines on like who they let in? Are they a little bit more selective, perhaps? Because I could see that. I see Malaysians in the comments all the time, and everybody's just like, no, no, no. We live in the trees. We don't have society over here. Forget about us. So, like, does that carry over to like the way the government looks at things too, or are they completely different? Just like really looking to bolster their economy by bringing in selective candidates. Let's find out.
And the beauty about the SMM2H is the only two requirements that I would consider to be easily satisfied is the fixed deposit requirement. So all Sarawak requires you to do is prove that you have minimum funds in a bank account. So you need to deposit 500,000 ringgit into a fixed deposit account, which we can hook you up with the right bankers. But essentially, you need to just put 500k ringgit, so that's about 180 grand Australian, I'd say, and you'll be able to qualify for that visa. The other requirement is that you need to stay in Sarawak. The main applicant has to stay in Sarawak for 30 days a year consecutively. That means that the spouse, it could be your wife, it could be your children, could live in Penang or KL on the Sarawak MM2H program. So that's huge because many people take advantage of the SMM2H program without even needing to live full-time.
That's wild. That's wild. So you got to spend like 2 weeks, not even, over there. Like, I don't know why you'd want to live on the other side, though. Like, Sarawak just sounds magical.
They actually live in KL or Penang, but on the SMM2H visa. So it gives you that flexibility that other states don't have here. Meaning that you're in KL and you're on the MM2H visa and you want to come to Sarawak, tough luck. Because our immigration even prevents those holding a Labuan director's visa from entering. So what is Labuan? Labuan we discussed in previous videos. There's probably a link somewhere around. But essentially,
you can visit, right? You
that
just
we
can't
spoke
live
about
there.
the secret loophole for entrepreneurs to migrate to Malaysia by setting up a company in our tax haven called Labuan, which
I wonder, you guys comment below if you really know. I'm going to have to ask these guys, like, is it as difficult too if you're just, because I know it's possible to go in on a tourist visa in KL and you can, if you meet up with the right people and you pay ahead of time, like you pay a year in advance or whatever, you can get an apartment in KL for an entire year. You just still have to juggle the whole visa situation, like leave the country and all that, and come back. I wonder is that possible to do over on the eastern side of Malaysia as well? Like if you're on a tourist visa, or are they a little more strict about that? Can you not go over there and get an apartment and then juggle your visa the same way? I'm not sure about that. That's something I need to learn
then
about.
qualifies you for a director's visa. Even that visa will not let you come into Sarawak. But if you have the Sarawak visa, you can then enter any state in Malaysia and live freely. So Sarawakians can go to West Malaysia, compete, take jobs, vice versa. That can't happen.
What a good deal. And
Interesting.
is there a use case to actually have a Labuan visa and company formation and a Sarawak MM2H visa?
Well, this is one of the best questions I've ever got because we've only recently started to experiment with this structure. The beauty about this new structure is many of our clients who own significant assets, gold, silver, cryptocurrency, many of them don't want to start businesses or have businesses. That means that the Labuan company structure is not the right structure for you. Instead, what we do is we combine two structures. One being the Labuan Investment Holding Company, as well as the Sarawak MM2H visa. Why is this combination so important? This is for people who do not want to pay the renewal fees every 2 years for the Labuan Directors visa. Bear in mind that if you set up a company in a tax haven like Labuan, you qualify for the Labuan Directors visa. It is a visa that only lasts 2 years. Of course, that 2 years is renewable and you can renew that visa for as long as you wish. However, here is the better deal. Why not? We set up a Labuan investment company. It attracts 0% tax. It doesn't qualify you for Labuan Directors visa, but it immediately drops your tax to 0%. No capital gains tax at all.
no stamp duty, no VAT, no GST, none of that. Winning. But
How is this possible? Is Malaysia the only country in the world that does this? I'm just astounded. I'm blown away. Jack, he's just like, he's in the same boat. He's like, what? How is this possible? Are we serious? Malaysians, what are you hiding from the rest of the world over there? Like, this is incredible. Like, are you kidding me? Whoa.
let's talk about the visa part. So you got a company, right? How do you get the visa? Set up loved one company, drop your taxes close to zero. But for the visa aspect, don't go for the loved one director's visa. Use the Sarawak MM2H. So what happens is you'll have a combination of a loved one company and
a little
the
Venn
Sarawak
diagram.
MM2H visa, which is a 10-year visa. So on one part, you settle your taxes, you restructure your affairs in terms of living, so you and your family can have the stability of a 10-year visa. All you need to do is deposit 500,000 ringgit in a bank, go for some health checkups.
What's up, Hoochie PBG?
100,000 ringgit.
What to do? Where are you coming from?
3 months in terms of your bank deposit. So before you actually launch your application, make sure that your bank account does show at least 100,000 ringgit, or about 30 grand Australian for the main applicant. If you are coming as a couple, then your combined savings need to be at least 200,000 ringgit, which is about 80,000 Australian, 60,000 United States dollars. So keep that fiat in your bank account, show the last 3 months worth that you have that much money in. That coupled with the investment of 500,000 ringgit into our bank, a fixed deposit, doing a health check, and making sure that you stay at least 30 days. The main applicant stays 30 days in Sarawak, and that's all that it is.
These restrictions are not that bad. Like, this is totally doable for a lot more people than the traditional MM2H visa over there on the KL side of things in West Malaysia. This is incredible, dude. Whoa. How many of you guys knew about this before? This is just like a little hidden secret that like very little people know about. These guys are onto something. This is wild. I'm blown away. I'm glad I jumped on this video. You guys, if you're looking to move to Malaysia, hit up Nigel, hit up Jack, talk to these guys, because this is the way to do it.
5+5 visa, which means the government gives you 5 years, and after 5 years, they don't want to tie you all the way for the entire length of the MM2H visa. So it's called a 5+5. At the end of 5 years, you have the option to pull out the money and basically drop the visa. If you wish to continue, then you can do the whole 10 years.
So it's like when a player on a sports team is like, I don't want to play for you guys anymore. And they just, we're able to drop out of it and move on. There's no penalty for doing so. That's incredible too. Jeez. Who wrote this rule? Who's in charge of this? Because they're genius. They're thinking long term. Wow.
End of 10 years, you can then apply again for another 10 years. As long as your deposit, the 500,000 ringgit, which obviously there's little benefit there, it's actually not 500,000 ringgit. It's only 500,000 ringgit for the first year. After year one, guess what? The Sarawak government actually lets you draw down half, which is 250 grand. You can draw down. So you only need to keep 250,000 ringgit long-term earning interest in a bank account that's under your name. You're not paying the money to anyone. It's your money, your money. You can take it out anytime. It's just that you can't invest it.
So the reason this works is because you're essentially giving, you're helping bring Malaysian banks to a higher status in the world by giving them an extra little bit of liquidity access. Is that what's going on? Yeah, that's really smart idea. Who came up with this, guys? Do you know? Anybody in chat? Somebody watching has to know, like, who's in charge of coming up with these rules, because they are brilliant. This is genius level. Wow.
Crypto and stocks. It just has to sit in a bank account.
Well, yeah, you guys, I got commercials. I'm not giving YouTube any money. How you guys doing today, viewers? Chat? Like, what's up, guys? Where are you watching from? You watching from Malaysia? How you doing? Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you're learning something along with me. This is crazy. Yeah, you have to live in the treehouse over there in eastern Malaysia, but it's worth it. Oh, guys, are you peace building today? Are you helping the world become a better place? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing good. Let's finish out this video.
That
is essentially the most straightforward pathway for a retiring, high net worth individual who wants to relocate, restructure their assets to Malaysia. It is the most straightforward pathway in terms of your taxes because you're going to Labuan, and then you combine it with a Sarawak MM2H program. Here's the beauty. Sarawak and Malaysia in general does not really impose capital gains tax on many different types of assets like crypto trading and gold, silver, these sort of precious metals. There is no tax on holding. So if that's the only asset that you hold, perhaps you might even consider foregoing the Labuan company and just go with the MM2H.
This is incredible too. And like, you guys know that Malaysia has some of the best international schools in the world for your children and all that. Like, they're going to come home learning all sorts of different languages and being completely ready for the higher level education opportunities in the world. Like Nigel himself, he's so well educated, and he came from these programs, and it's something that I'd like to do with my children in the future. That's why I'm watching this, and I hope you guys are getting something out of this yourself.
I was going to say, a lot of amazing information. Thanks for sharing. I think you've pretty much covered all the main questions that people want to know. What I hear from you guys, the viewers and clients as well, is that this is exactly what they're looking for. And what I also appreciate about you, Nigel, and the team, is that you're looking at this creatively, obviously legally fully compliant, which is amazing. You can trust that you're doing the right thing. But there are different options. There's no one size fits all for everyone. Being able to use this program, looking at your specific circumstances, we can help figure out what is best for you and your family, dependents, etc. So I really like that, and it's good to know there's not just one pathway. And this is why I want to call out West Malaysia MM2H a little bit, because it's become its own industry in of itself. And I think it's a lot about lining some people's pockets, if we can say that. Absolutely. In terms of properties, because when I do a property video review, some people call out that hey, the price get higher to meet the minimum requirement, which is true. It's not fair.
Right.
It's not quite fair, but that's the requirement. They're meeting.
But at the same time, isn't that a benefit? Like, if it's just under, if like the actual price is just under that requirement, it kind of like makes it more difficult to choose the property that you want. Why not just like bump up that price? Everybody wins. The person that's trying to move there. Come to Brazil. Mo Kennedy? Yeah, no, I heard Brazil is awesome right now. Another hidden gem. A lot of people are talking about Brazil these days. Brazil looks beautiful too. The culture. Plus, you got the Amazon. I've always wanted to go upriver and like strangle some anacondas, right? Just kidding. No, that's a good idea too. I should look into Brazil. What was I gonna say? I don't know. No, yeah, I think that like sometimes these little price bumps just to move to Malaysia, just like so you qualify for that visa, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because they're trying to sell more properties, and you're trying to get that visa. So why not just like pay a little extra? Everybody's happy. I think that's a good thing. It's not necessarily taking advantage of you. I think it's helping out.
And then agents, on that, they're obviously a lot is legit, and I'm not going to say that there's bad operators. It's still a very viable program, and you should come to Malaysia if that's for you. But it's good to know that.
Remember, it's not a scam if they're upfront about like, hey, this is why we're doing it. This is why it's a little more expensive. Like, it totally makes sense on why.
There are the alternatives to get the facts and all the information if it suits your situation. Right?
Certainly. And if I may add, Sarawak is really, really special in many, many ways. Sarawak's government, its politicians, its leaders are very far-sighted compared to a lot of other states in Malaysia, where if you understand and you speak to Malaysian locals, and many of you expats have made friends.
You guys have been wild in the comments. I love you guys.
You come, if you're watching this video, you're likely someone who's familiar with Malaysia. You've probably been to Malaysia, you visited the UK or Australia. You probably have friends. And if you ask your local friends in KL, they will confirm what I'm saying. It's very divisive. The politicians tend to divide people, and they use race as a way to do so. You don't really see it in the news because this is just local politicians doing their own local things, right? In terms of Sarawak, our leaders are very different. Sarawak is known to be one of the most harmonious states. It is the most harmonious state in Malaysia, not one of it is. Because many Malaysians from the West will confirm this, that they look to Sarawak as a beacon of hope where they see for themselves. In Sarawak, the majority population is indigenous. They're called the Dayaks. They are the majority of the people here. Then 30%.
And let me tell you guys, all these Dayaks in the comment section are so funny. I feel like I haven't encountered a population of people that have that level of hilarious backhanded sarcasm in like the most kind and gentle way. You guys are hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. And like you said, like the Malaysian government, in particular the people over in Sarawak, they have the ability to think so far into the future and plan ahead for the growth of their country in such a correct way. Whereas like here in the West, we have so many turnovers with our politicians and bickering back and forth that it's like this huge distraction. We're only able to think like 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 years into the future. Whereas over there, they know what they're doing, and they're able to look 50, 100 years even into the future and anticipate the changes and get ready for it and go about it in such a beautiful way and really build the population in a way that just brings joy to the people.
Are Chinese.
You guys are
and
awesome.
the rest of them are the Malays. And you will see that
Right.
all of us
Look how
live
gorgeous
in
that
absolute
is.
harmony because
What?
our politicians
What
don't
is going
divide
on?
us, they unite
Look at the
us.
ceiling.
And they actually care about us. For a lot of these politicians who are in Sarawak, being the friendly ecosystem that we are, the rainforest city that everyone knows each other, the premier, the deputy premier, the politicians, they
Wow.
actually
I love the small town vibes.
They care about this place deeply because they know that they want to set this place up for their own grandchildren and their own
Gorgeous.
children. Many of the politicians, their kids remain in Sarawak. They didn't send their kids off to many other politicians because they believe in this state. They believe what this state can represent in the future. That's why right now it is such an important thing that they've done to release this SPM2H, because for the first time in history, expats like yourself can actually come into our very exclusive state. See for yourself how wealthy the people here are, not in terms of raw wealth, but in terms of the friendship, the culture, and how people love each other over here. We all get along very well. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. Everyone speaks English.
Such a good point there too. Doesn't matter what skin color you are, because people, we are all shades of brown. You know, how much milk do you want in your coffee? Right? Gotta remember that. We are peace builders over here. Okay? Like now, how do they keep the riffraff from coming into the country? I'd like to know
Everybody
that.
treats each other with respect, and you will feel that true Sarawakian Malaysian hospitality when you live in a place like this.
Well, the passion, I'm not
Does
gonna
it get
talk
any better?
personally about politics and religion and all that, but it's good to hear from you. And I personally, I love KL, I love West Malaysia. I think it's very
Sure.
peaceful, it's very inclusive. But I do agree, when you come to Sarawak, to Kuching,
Peace builders,
there's
baby.
even a more relaxed vibe, and it's that and more. So, and family, so deep, caring community. Yeah, that's so bad. Yeah, I've really felt that myself. All of Malaysia is a great place, and Sarawak and Kuching is definitely a
And I've noticed too that like in the Western world, life has become so expensive that a lot of people are only having a child or two. And that doesn't really help even maintain a population. Like people are holding off until they're 35, 40 years old to have children over here. Where life over there in Sarawak, for instance, it seems like not only is it more, it's inexpensive, like, but people are able to like, oh, hey, I want to have 4 kids. I want to have a big family. I want to have 6 kids. And it's actually possible. They're able, like, they make enough money. Everything's like at an appropriate price. They're not just getting completely gouged by corporations. They're able to live the life that they want to live and increase the population full of peace builders, man. Like, what is it? What's the concept? Love the little dangly there, Jack. What is that? I want to hear more about that little guy right there. I got my boo-boo, but that guy's like kind of cool with a little heart on the shirt. What's up with that, dude? With a little backward snapback. Dope, dude.
we can hope that I'm going to spend more time in personally.
I hope
Two
so.
G's
That's
getting
my
out
hope,
of the
and
way.
maybe one day Jack might give it a move here, and we can actually look after him for the long term. And that would be something that I would love.
Yeah.
And my friends here who are behind the camera,
Right.
we all love Jack very much, and we all owe a great debt of gratitude to what he's done. But can I also
Two of
say
the best
something
in Malaysia
about
right here,
Affin
guys.
Bank? Have you heard of Affin Bank?
I've heard of
Follow
Affin
them.
Do you know what happened to Affin Bank?
No, I don't.
Let me tell you. So what is Affin Bank? Affin Bank is a bank that is a retail bank throughout Malaysia. It's one of the largest banks, and because of how far-sighted our premier is, how concerned he is about the influence of global finance and potentially the threat of CBDCs and the doors and walls closing in, we have a politician, a premier, who's willing to stand by his people and actually do the right thing. So what did Sarawak do?
How common is that these days, guys? How many of you would like to have somebody representing you and actually caring about you and your family's future? What a concept. God bless Sarawak.
And this deal has already come through. It's been settled. Sarawak purchased the majority controlling stake in Affin Bank.
Really?
Which means
Okay, I didn't
a
know that.
retail bank, an
Whoa.
institutional retail bank in Malaysia, you can find their ATMs all over KL.
So it's like a socialized banking system.
A subsidiary, given
It's
that
truly
Sarawak is
for the
main
people.
stakeholder and a majority shareholder. Now we've got a retail bank under control by our state government to protect our people and to ensure that this is a bank that our people can trust, knowing that the government is a state-owned bank now.
Which
This is
means
how
the
far
people
Premier
are.
is going in order to look after his people. He's setting up his own petroleum entities as well. It's called Petros. So there is Affin Bank, there is the ART, which is the Automotive Rail Transport System. Abang Johari is the premier of our state. So just so that you guys know, he's a very, very good leader. He was underestimated when he first came into office, and he has proven it wrong. He has done such great things, and I think the people of Sarawak have completely rallied behind him.
How often do you hear that from people talking about their government? That's incredible. Wow. Like, what would you guys do to have somebody that you could look up to and really trust? It's like, you don't have to have like a full-blown socialist or communist economy to have a government that really cares about you and looks out for your interests and understands that certain aspects of our society and of capitalism don't have to be working against the interests of the people. Brilliant.
Amazing. So Sarawak's making moves. Good point about the banking. I just want to quickly address that. So we're talking about moving money and having money in Malaysia. To us, it's obvious that Malaysia is very safe and trustworthy, but confirm that, right? You've got different banking options. You've got international bank.
Guys, one of the safest places in the world. I've walked through some weird parts, like you would think, just like from looking at it. Certain parts of KL are kind of like crazy looking at night. It's like kind of scary feeling. But I was totally safe. There was nothing wrong. People were just saying hello in the middle of the night. Like, they're probably going, why is this big white guy walking through our town right now? But I was just, walking all the way back to where I was staying and decided to take the long, the path of less traveled, right? And it was totally safe. And, everyone was kind and willing to direct me on where I needed to go. It was really cool.
It's not something that you would need to worry about when it comes to the safety of your
Very rare to feel that way in the middle
We've
of the
got
night.
very,
A lot of
very
the
deep
world.
connections with all the bankers here in Sarawak, so we can ensure that if you guys set up your deposits here, we will make sure that a private banker is assigned to you personally, because these are all good friends of ours, and they would love to have you guys in Sarawak as well. So
Personal
imagine
connection.
you're in Australia,
Amazing.
you've got a Commonwealth Bank, you've got a West Bank, all the big banks. Take a number, mate. Take a seat.
Yeah, exactly. Take a number, you are a number.
In Kuching, you can just call our good friend, our banker. Her name is Debbie. You can literally contact her on WhatsApp and deal with her directly. This is the level of service you just cannot get elsewhere. That's so
No, you
personalized.
can't.
Then you can even have your private banker. You go out all the time with them. You really build a deep personal relationship. They know you back to front, but they are very ethical and they're regulated. They work in a bank, obviously, in an institutional bank. So there's no issue that these people might end up scamming me or whatnot. And these are real private.
Malaysians, everybody over there, do you guys feel this way? The requirements were even better 3 years ago? Yeah, how has it changed, Ada Newton? Is it like for the worse? Is it really that much more difficult? Or do you see the reasons why? Like, is it okay? But like, the Malaysians out there, like, do you really feel that personal connection that he's talking about when you go to your bank, or just like living life in general with the companies that you interact with on the regular, with your working environment, with your bosses, whatever it might be? That's a very, very nice thing that I noticed about Asia is like, there is a personal connection to your day-to-day living. Like, wherever you go, people get to know you, they remember you. It's not as impersonal as I notice it is here in America. There's certainly businesses that you go to where they remember you, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the pleasantries are just a little shallow out here in America, where people are kind of in their head a little bit, not as heartfelt. So that's really cool that even at a bank you can feel like your family.
Because as you would in any other bank like HSBC, and all these top banks like HSBC, they are actually in Kuching as well. Yeah, Kuching has all the bank branches, including the Bank of China, ICBC. These banks are all OCBC from Singapore. Also here, they have headquarters that are very, very close to town. These are all the banking options that are available to you. These are banks that you are familiar with. They are household names.
I just thought it's important, but I personally bank with HSBC in Malaysia. It's no problems at all. It's very good.
It's a huge bank.
Excellent. That pretty much wraps up what, in a nutshell, what the Sarawak MM2H program is. It is a very open, straightforward program. As long as you're over the age of 30, you can apply. So the only people who cannot apply for the SMM2H are those people under the age of 30.
Yeah, that makes
I think
sense.
we've covered it all. Is there anything else you want to add, Nigel?
No, I just think that you should all come here, visit, and if you are coming to Sarawak, please message Jack, please, and he will tee up the meeting, and I will do my best if I am in Sarawak, because I live half my life in Australia, in Perth, where I run my legal practice. We help all our clients from Australia, not
Beautiful.
from Malaysia. We all have Australian skilled lawyers handling the entire international restructuring process, because making one mistake, getting one thing wrong could cost you thousands. So getting the right advice,
so much
well,
time.
that's where Jack and I come in, because we are the experts in this. We can hook you up with the right
Hit these
people
guys up,
when it comes
guys.
to banking, but we can also handle
Even if you're
give
just
you white
visiting for a
glove
little while.
service when it comes to
Hold on, let's see what Aiden has to say. I would say it's definitely better than the MM2H requirements, but compared to previous iterations of the MM2H and SMM2H visas, Malaysia only wants to attract very wealthy people. The MM2H was started as a retirement visa, but retirees can no longer qualify because, as you said, most don't have the liquidity to apply. That makes sense. I guess now they're looking for, younger people that have families. It sounds like people that have, maybe made it off well with some Bitcoin early investing or just smart maneuvering when they were younger to have this extra capital before they decided to buy a house in their original countries. Maybe they have a little nest egg that they're able to move forward with. That's a really good point, Aiden. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. I notice a lot of countries, they want retirees, but at the same time, a lot of retirees, they count on pensions and mortgages that they're tied into, and it's harder for them to move around with that much liquidity. It's very difficult. You guys, even if you're visiting, hit up these guys, and just be prepared to get to know Malaysia on a different level, because their knowledge is invaluable. And jump online, and I'm sure you can find different places of the internet where you can talk to Malaysians themselves, like Aiden here, who can really show you what's up, because they are some of the most kind and inviting people. They do want to keep Sarawak a little bit of a secret. I understand why now. No homelessness. It's such a clean society. The traffic's a lot better. I didn't know that their population level was so low, which makes sense, I guess, considering that it's just one of those forgotten corners of the world. But you see how well developed it is, and how personal the people are. It's beautiful. We could all if we could all just be a little bit more like that in our own lives and the way we conduct business, this world would be a better place. But sometimes you just got to take that opportunity and go where you're treated best. And if that's Sarawak or even the rest of Malaysia, so be it. You got one life to live. Enjoy it. Find the place where you're treated best, guys.
doing the entire restructuring process from you, from wherever you are, to come to Malaysia. All right? We work with even your accountants. If you're in Australia, UK, we work with your accountants, because your accountants have the knowledge and the know-how with respect to the local laws in the UK and in Australia. They are the ones
how to
that can
maneuver the money
orchestrate how
efficiently.
you can cease becoming a tax resident, which is the key point. You need to become a tax resident of Malaysia before you can finally cease residency elsewhere.
Covered a lot of important points there. When you go further into these chats, we're going to look at your specific scenario. But I just wanted to vouch for Nigel personally. He's an amazing host in Kuching, in Sarawak. He loves the state, he loves Malaysia, and also he loves his life in Australia.
Yes, I know.
So being able to get the best of both worlds is.
And remember, guys, you don't always have to be after a passport. You watch some of these other guys, they're going to countries where they get granted a passport eventually. It might be a little more difficult in Malaysia, but like getting residency and having a visa for such a long period of time, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. You don't have to forego your citizenship in another country in order to live in another country. And as long as your taxes are all lined up and everything's kosher, like you're good to go. Enjoy your life.
Amazing, and I think it's a really unique opportunity to bring Nigel, the team at GLP Lawyers, to you guys to help you out in a way that's trustworthy, effective, and has passion behind it. So, yeah, to get in contact, send an email. Link will be in the description.
I threw the link in my description as well. Go follow these guys.
Sarawak, the team could take you around and show you what it has to offer.
Send us an email. Send us a link below.
Thank you very
doesn't
much,
hurt to send an
Nigel.
email,
That was
guys.
an amazing chat.
Yeah.
Very insightful. I think the viewers will appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to hear more talk from a real talking Aussie living in Asia. See you in the next one.
Yeah. Guys, seriously, go follow Jack and Nigel. Reach out to them if you have any questions. I'm learning. That's why we watch this video. No, they're definitely some of the best guys on the internet, to be fair. Yeah, hit them up. Go live life. What's up, Aiden? Let's see. We have been traveling to Malaysia for 3+ years now. Also, the properties you buy into are at a higher value than Malaysian values because of the price requirement. So it limits your resale. It does limit your resale a little bit, but again, it grants you the ability to move there long term. So is it a win-win? I'd like to think so. They get a little bit higher reward on the real estate side of things, which is cool, and you get the ability to move there. I would say to just visit as a tourist as many times as you can. Do that long before considering the full residency. Absolutely. I went there and spent a lot of time in KL. Next time I go, I'm going to be venturing all around Malaysia and really seeing all these smaller cultures, smaller places that just hit different. Find a place that you really enjoy, that you can see yourself living in. And remember, if you got problems back home, they're going to follow you wherever you go. So make sure that you're not just moving there because you want to feel like you're on vacation, because that's not going to change. Eventually you're going to feel, that SMM2H is definitely more attractive. Yeah. And I hear that side of Malaysia. It's just like that little secret that they don't want to talk about, that it's just beautiful. I'd love to go out to that jungle and just have a good time. Do some trekking, some hiking. Got to bring your snake boots, though. Aiden, where's your favorite place in Malaysia? Where do you like to go? You've been out there a few times. That's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to be back. See all these small port towns, beach towns, and just get on the back roads and just see what's up. It's a different pace of life out there in Malaysia. That's what I really like. Even KL's a little crazy, but it's a different pace. The MM2H and putting 1 mil Malaysian ringgit into a property without having solid resale potential and forced to hold for 10 years, you would hope it would lead to something like PR at least. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, permanent residency is hard to get. But again, what's the landscape going to look like in 10 years? I'm sure these laws are all going to change, and eligibility requirements, of course. Who knows? The world is moving so fast right now. What kind of technology are we going to have? We're going to fly in cars by then. Everything's going to be so different. Just the ability to move there for 10 years is pretty sick, because you might get stuck with the property as the only people who could buy it would be another foreigner. And by the 10-year mark, there's more state-of-the-art buildings coming online. This is very true. So it's really got to be something that you want to do. I think that's what you're hinting at too. You got to understand, this is where I want to be, and the financial windfall of real estate is not necessarily going to be there. You're going to have an older property where these buildings that they're going to build over the next 5 years even are going to be so state-of-the-art. They're going to become living entities in themselves, completely connected to online. Yeah, you're right. These properties nowadays are not going to age completely well. And I noticed too, a lot of places in KL, for instance, you're going to have to pay a higher premium for a nicer place. Some of these places that I stayed in, Airbnb, are they built to the highest standards of the Western world, or things that I've seen? Like doing construction, you understand like what you're looking at. So when you look closer at the details and you really zoom into how they built the place, like these places aren't necessarily built to the high standards with the best materials or whatnot. Yeah, the tile job is nice or whatever, but they're not like necessarily great. Whereas like it looks like Sarawak, they got some really nice old properties, which are great. Malaysia and Vietnam are my family's favorite countries. We would choose to settle in either in a heartbeat. Where in Vietnam? Yeah, Vietnam looks great, but like Da Nang looks like it's saturated. You saw everybody about a year ago talking about it, and now it's just like you got Vietnamese people living on one side of the river, and you got a whole bunch of expats living on the other, and everybody's trying to tell you to move there. Personally, I'd go to Saigon, like Ho Chi Minh, just stick to the bigger cities. Daughter is young, 6. We still enjoy bigger cities because of activities for her. Yeah. And when you're young like that, like you're able to get along with other kids that are young too. Like you guys aren't necessarily good at your own language, let alone another language. See, they're a little bit more. Does that make sense? Like they kind of talk with body language a little bit more and just like having fun. That's actually, yeah, that's a good point. A lot more activities, parks, and yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Living out in the sticks might be a little bit not as fun. It's more fun for the adults who have kind of had it with the hustle and bustle their whole lives to get out to the quiet areas. But when you're a kid, you want to see people, you want to meet people, have fun. Yeah, I totally agree. That's cool. And having a favorite place, it's hard to do, right? Like every place is different. You never really know what you're looking for until you experience it. Yeah. I'm really excited to go back. Malaysia is amazing. I haven't been to Vietnam yet. Vietnam is a whole nother animal to me, you know. As far as like learning languages, at least in Malaysia, it's kind of like easy level Asia because everybody speaks a little bit of English. The younger people are certainly better at it just because of the great schooling that they went through. But even the elderly, they know a little bit. Vietnam is just... you got pockets of English. Everyone knows a little bit, I guess. I've heard a lot of people, though, that lived in Vietnam for a long time. They still struggle learning even the basics of the language. The tonal aspect is different than English. Well, thanks for coming in here, Aiden, and talking it up. Your perspective is great. I really appreciate that. But yeah, guys, hit up Jack. Mr. Alderton is... It's just an endless wealth of knowledge. He's seen it. He's done it. He's out there. He's all over the place, having a blast. Nigel, again, incredible. The guy knows everything. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna move on to the next video, my style. When we get out of here, rebump to a new live here in a minute once I get everything set up. But thanks for coming by. Thank you to all my Malaysian support. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're having an amazing one. We choose Saigon as well. Yeah, Aiden, that's good to know because I'm probably going to have to visit. That's for sure. But remember, build peace. Love your neighbor. Have a great one, guys. Make sure you have fun every day of the week. And have a good weekend if this is when